Hi, everyone. So today I'm going to talk about 3 lessons we've learned at Matchbox.io. Hopefully I can help you avoid some of the trials and errors that we've gone through while designing voice experiences for children. So first, before we dive into those lessons learned, I want to tell you a little bit about Matchbox. So we're the creators of some of the most popular voice experiences on Amazon Alexa, Google Assistant, and Samsung Bixby, with millions of users around the world in dozens of countries and in 4 different languages. So our portfolio includes 19 voice experiences in 4 main categories that you can see there. There's games, education, wellness, and utilities. So today I'm going to discuss our kids voice applications, and specifically I'll use Kids Quiz, Animal of the Day, and Animal Rescue as examples. So the 3 lessons I want to share with you today may seem pretty straightforward, but speaking from experience, they're very easy to overlook for both developers and for designers. So the first one we'll talk about is to make the content age appropriate, like truly age appropriate. The second one is to create a clean design. And then the third that we'll talk about is anticipate kid-specific errors. So let's dive into these one by one. So the first is to write age-appropriate content. It's easy to say that a voice experience is designed for, ages 5 through 12. But it's important to remember that a 5-year-old is very different from, say, an 8-year-old who is very different from a 12-year-old, right? How they understand the world, how they process information, their brains are all very different. So what you create for each age group should also be different. So for a little background, we designed Kids Quiz as an educational experience to help children learn more about the world, and we do this through questions and answers. Originally, we had as one of our questions this question for ages 5 through 12. During which of the 4 seasons does it get the hottest outside? Is it summer, winter, or spring? Well, there are a few things that can be improved with this, right? So the first one, during beta testing, we realized that the question itself is just too long for a smart speaker. So we changed it to when is it hottest outside? That just works better for a smart speaker. Then if you ask a 12-year-old this question, when is it hottest outside, summer, winter, or spring? They'll kind of stare at you and wonder if this is a trick question in some way, right? But if you ask a 5-year-old this question, it'll make them think, but most of them will be successful with this kind of question. They'll be able to answer. So this content is really better for 5 or 6-year-olds, but not for the full age range. Another example is this question. What's something that most people can't do? Smell a flower, lick their own elbow, or go to sleep? So in beta testing, one 5-year-old got this question and shrugged her shoulders and said, I don't know what people can't do. I thought, this is a wise child, right? Touché. So this content really is more appropriate for slightly older kids. It'll make them think, they'll have some fun with it, but most of the older kids will be able to figure out the answer. So our second lesson learned is to create a clean design. This goes for experiences for adults as well, of course, for the entire age range from kids to adults, but it's particularly true and helpful for children. So shorter is better in content, as we just saw, where we shortened that one question. And it's also important in design flow. You want to avoid giving too many options. At Matchbox, we learned to give children a pretty direct path. In Kids Quiz and Animal of the Day, the child chooses their topic or their level for the day, and then boom, they're into the experience. They're off and running. In Animal Rescue, the child chooses the animal they want to save, and then every few minutes, they're given 2 choices in the story. Do they want to do this or do they want to do that? But that's it. There aren't multiple layers to sort through. For the child, it doesn't get complicated or confusing. So what this means is that they won't hear choose from panda, turtle, tiger, ostrich, or lobster, or to hear more options, say more options. That's just too much, right? Even for adults, let alone a 7-year-old. So we aim to provide 1, 2, or maybe 3 choices and then get moving along in the experience. Our third lesson learned is anticipate kid-specific errors. And this is my absolute favorite lesson learned. This is a lot of fun, actually. So as many of you know, right now, voice recognition on smart speakers for children around age 6 and younger isn't as great as it is for older children and for adults. It's getting better every day. The technology is moving very quickly, but right now at this point in time, it's just not optimal for young children. Well, one day we deployed new content for Kids Quiz, and I was watching some of the errors come in, and I noticed that child after child was being misunderstood by the smart speaker as saying, "Ask me not," when they answered a specific prompt. So 5, 6, 7-year-olds across the country, again and again, were being misunderstood and asked to repeat themselves when the smart speaker thought they said, "Ask me not." So I was really puzzled by this and looked into this. And I checked the prompt, and the prompt was, what do you call someone who goes into outer space? Is it a farmer, a teacher, or an astronaut? So child after child was actually answering astronaut, but the smart speakers thought they were saying, "Ask me not." So this is a huge realization for us. And now we use a lot more synonyms and alternative acceptable responses. And what's more, and actually what's super fun, is that when we're writing for young children now, we actually say the possible responses out loud in a young child's voice to hear what other words might sound like. So you can actually try this at home in your best child's voice and take a look at this list. These are actual examples of where a child was responding to one of our voice apps, but the smart speaker misheard them. So the first one there, we just talked about astronaut. The smart speaker thought they were saying, "Ask me not." Next one, fish. A child was very excited. They knew the answer to a question and they said, "Fish, fish." But the smart speaker thought they were saying physicist or winter, wind care, right? Goose, Zeus, librarian, life brain. So in each of these instances, and in hundreds more like them, we added a lot of acceptable answers that sound like the word that we're looking for. And we also improved our algorithms to allow for a greater range of synonyms. So this way, no matter how the child pronounces the word, they'll have a successful experience with this. So try it at home. Get your best 5-year-old voice and try that at home. All right, so those are 3 of the lessons that we've learned here at Matchbox. So thanks for joining today. I can't wait to chat with everybody in the breakout sessions in just a few minutes.